Hey everyone, it's Friday, November 1st, 2024, and we made some progress today. Went to Sherwin-Williams, and they're real helpful there at the Automotive Paint Center, and bought a bunch of paint and hardener and stuff. And so we're getting started on fixing up what we got going on here. I thought this was a failure on my part, but after I sanded it down, I could see that the failure is like this is galvanized metal right here, and that's just plain steel. And it's the galvanized that's like puckering off of there. So I sanded it down as best I could to get it smooth, and anything that was like bubbled up. And I applied OSPO rust converter, and it's working. I don't want to touch this right now, but this has got a film of that OSPO on it. It's got to sit for 24 hours. Hopefully we don't get any rain tonight. But really, there's no rust here except for, I'll show you, where's that spot? Right here. You see where that is black? The OSPO turns rust black like that. Everything else is just metal color. So, I mean, that's a good sign anyway. I don't know. So hopefully this is going to go well. So the guy hooked me up with a self-etching primer in an aerosol can. I'll show you the product here in a second. And that's what we're going to put on next. I've used OSPO a lot of times in the past, but he said to go ahead and use the OSPO, then use self-etching primer. Where this is duplicate color, I've used the Rust-Oleum self-etching primer, which is good stuff. I mean, the guy just grabbed this and stuck it in the box, said, hey, you need this too, so I just took it. This is the hardener for the paint. This is a quart of paint for like 40 something bucks. And we got the primer, FP410, I believe is the primer. And this is FH411 is the hardener for the primer. And this is good stuff. I got the instructions right here. Yeah, FP410 2KHS primer. It dries pretty quick, and it seems to make a nice hard finish. I did a little touch up over here. There was a nick in that I ground it down, filled it with some glazing putty. The 2-part glazing putty is the bomb. That stuff really works. I mean, it's just like thinned out Bondo, but it's nice. And I just used a paintbrush, painted the primer on there. I mean, it's a school bus, right? It's not going to be perfect. Hey, it's Sunday, November 2nd. And just like we didn't want, we had some rain overnight. So I'm coming out here to see how we're doing. Some water droplets here still. So I think the rest of the day is just cloudy. Yeah, look right there, some surface rust. God dang it. Okay, just those 2 spots. And our paper is sopping wet here. Yeah, it's not sopping wet. It looks wet. So we'll have to, you can see the white residue from the OSPO. It's funny how that wasn't sealed from the film of the OSPO. We'll have to sand those little rust spots. And then we're gonna put our self-etching primer on this thing. We'll get that sealed up. And man, look how nice this looks. Jeez. All right, man. So I'm wet sanding the whole length of it. And I'm using isopropyl as my lubricant instead of water, because it's going to dry real quickly and not leave residue, and it's a nice solvent too. So we've done this so far. I've already sanded the whole thing, and this is as far as I've gotten with the wiping it clean. All right, that's my first light coat. It says to put 2 or 3 coats, 2 or 3 light coats, and give it 2 to 3 minutes between coats. So yeah, I gave it about 5 minutes for the alcohol to dry up, and since alcohol dries so fast, it can create water droplets on the surface. Oh, look at that, it sagged a little bit. This stuff is a lot lighter body than the Rust-Oleum product. The Rust-Oleum has got a lot of solids in it, I guess. I don't know. All right, give it another minute. We're gonna go for coat number 2. All right, 3 coats. I could breathe a little easier now that the metal is sealed anyway. My gosh, stupid weather is making this so difficult. The wet sanding took out pretty much all the deviations in it. There were just a couple spots where I needed to put some glazing putty. The guy at Sherwin-Williams hooked me up with this stuff. I mixed it up a little bit too hot. It was starting to thicken up by the time I got down here. I always tend to put too much hardener in these things. Let me show you the product I got. I think this is like commercial body shop grade stuff here. It's quite loose. It's got a nice feel to it. Well, we're at daylight. I think we're good for the next coat of real primer. Tomorrow's going to be a sunny day, so tomorrow's the day we're going to finish this. And got a little bit more sanding to do here. I kind of goofed up and left a piece of tape there. So it's going to, you know, there's a ridge. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'll just finally sand that down. I've been using 320 grit, and it's working out nice. Okay. So here's how we're mixing up our paint. Because right here, this is the top coat. I need 8 parts of paint and 1 part of hardener. And if I'm going to spray it, 2 parts of reducer, which is really more like 4 parts of reducer. Using my electronic refrigerant scale, which is pretty fabulous, man. This gives me grams, right? Kilograms in 3 decimal places. So I guess that's grams, right? And to show you how sensitive that is, this empty cup, which weighs like almost nothing, is 6 grams. All right, so we're gonna put in there a volume of paint that looks like how much I want to have, more or less, after I zero the meter. And then I'll just divide that number by 8, zero the meter again, and whatever that number was, that's how much of the hardener I'll put in. There's my paint, there's my hardener. Hey, it's Sunday, November 3rd. And I didn't video the progress of this because I was just too excited to get going. The weather's gorgeous and I really wanted to get a jump on this. So we mixed up a batch of the gray primer, which was supposed to be white, but they didn't have it. So sprayed that on there, and I diluted it with a little bit of acetone, which the instructions don't call for, but I could tell it was too thick. I don't know, man. All the Sherwin-Williams painting instructions, or paint instructions, they all seem to have way too thick of a formula, at least to go through my gun anyway. So the primer dried really fast. It was dry in like 20 minutes, maybe faster than that. And then I just applied the cream white color right on top of it. All right, it's kind of windy here, so I put this piece of, well, I put the wax paper down so if I make a mess, I don't mess up my scale. And I put this little guy here to help hold the wax paper down. Then I re-zeroed my meter with an empty cup. I got 92 grams of paint, and that divided by 8 is, let me do the math on that. Sorry about that. I had the number already figured out. I forgot what it was. It's 11.5 grams, right? So we're going to zero our meter, and we're going to add 11.5 grams of this stuff. Now, granted, we realize that the paint and the hardener may not be the same weight by volume, but it's going to be mighty close, man. Closer than any other means of measurement that I have. So 11.5. There's 6, 8, 12. There it is.